Now let's can some Great Northern beans. Now I've had my beans soaking overnight after I cleaned them. If you haven't seen the cleaning process, you need to go back and take a look at that because it's important to make sure your beans are good and clean before you start canning. Okay, so I've got my pot of beans here. I'm going to pour them through the colander. You can see that they have rehydrated completely now. And by doing that, I probably have a few more than what I really need to do 7 quarts. That's okay. The rest can go in a crock pot for meals over the next couple of days. So I'm just going to rinse these, and then I'll just set that colander in the top of my pot so that it can drip if it needs to. And then I'll show you what I do as far as putting them in the jars. This is a simple thing to do. Set this back over here. You can see I've got some bacon right there to use. So now let me move over here, and I will be right back. Okay, you can see now I've got my station, a little bit of workstation here set up, and what I'm going to do is add these to my jars, not all the way up to 1 inch because I want to add some bacon to these, so I'm not going to put them all the way to the top. You can see there I've got a little extra room. In the top of there I want to put a piece of cooked bacon in the top of each jar, and then I will add some water. Of course, I'm going to add some salt too. Not quite a teaspoon of salt because the bacon has got a good amount of salt in it, and so I don't want to have it too salty. So I'm going to probably put about maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt in each jar. And as you can see here, I've got whole pieces of cooked bacon, and I'm just breaking those up to put in the top of each jar to bring that up to the 1 inch mark. So you can see there, that brings it up close enough. And then of course when I put water in it, I'm going to fill it up, and I'll go ahead and do that so you can see. Okay, so you can see there I've got it up to that bottom rim, or close to it, and that is actually up to it. So I'll show you in a minute what I'm going to do with the rest of it. Okay, so now I want to show you a really important step here. As you can see, I've got bacon in the top, and I've already put water in. But when you've got a vegetable or something that can absorb a lot of water, I want you to take something, a wooden stick, I wouldn't use metal, and go down in here and make sure there are no air bubbles. Y'all don't always see me do this process, because sometimes I guess I just assume that you know, but I shouldn't assume that because I know we've got new people watching. But go down through it and make sure that there are no air bubbles. I'm going to do 2 or 3 of them because without a doubt there will be air bubbles somewhere in one of them, and then I can show you what you're going to find. Okay, I think this one's had some air bubbles in it. You see, it's not quite, it's down here instead of up close to that rim. Another thing that you can learn, if you've got this tool, this first notch right here is the 1 inch, and that shows me that the water is not up Let's see if I can get this over here where you can see it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it shows me that the water level is not up to the 1 inch. So that one needs some more water added to it. Okay, so I'm going to go through these and I'll be right back. Once you've gone through all of them, to make sure there are no air bubbles left and they're full, go around the rim. And since we put meat in this, you need to go around the rim with a cloth or a tissue, a paper towel, not a tissue, it would leave lint. But go around it with some vinegar on something to make sure there's no oil left on there. Now, I've got my clean lids sitting over here. Today, I'm using these superb lids. I've been using these for a little while. Of course, I've used Ball and Kerr and 4 Jars and even some off brands over the last few years that, you know, when I could not get the Ball. But the Superb brand is one of the brands that I like the most. So I'm going to get these in the pressure canner and then I'll show you what they look like. So I have taken the beans out of the canner and I want to show you now what they look like. I think you can see there. Uh-oh, you hear them popping. So that is our Great Northern beans, white beans, and bacon.